woman who looks down upon her husband. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. 1 Corinthians 13:4 and 5. The look on my husband's face suddenly changed while conversing with me. Barely suppressing his anger, he said, "You belittle me." I said in complete bewilderment, "That is not true. I don't know why you feel like I am belittling you." With all my heart I could promise that I never looked down on my husband. However, he always got upset at me, claiming that I belittled him and left me dumbfounded and speechless. Whenever he quarreled like this, we both felt awkward being around each other and had to suffer discomfort from the broken peace in our hearts. Then it was difficult to pray. It was like having spiritual asthma and not being able to breathe properly. Not only was my heart not moved even when reading the Bible, I was also not be able to concentrate. Such a state led me to extreme suffering, where I felt as if all of my blood were being dried up. The suffering was even greater since the problem occurred in the relationship with my husband, who is the closest person to me in the entire world. The feeling of suffering grew stronger and became unbearable. Still, I could not take what he said about how I belittled him. No matter how many times I looked back, I had never said or done anything with the intention of belittling him. I have never spoken thoughtlessly or done anything without discussing the matter with him beforehand. What is he talking about? The more I thought about it, the angrier and more upset I became. But regardless of the reason, I wanted to reconcile with him, because I could not bear the state of not being able to pray anymore. After days of struggling, I finally knelt down before the Lord. "Lord, I can't figure it out. Please help me understand what my husband means by saying I belittled him. Help me be able to see myself from an objective point of view, just as you and my husband see me." The answer didn't come immediately. I was getting impatient, but I managed to wait for a few days. My husband was driving with an expressionless face. I turned my head to my right to look out the window. As I was gazing out, I thought about his flaws and weaknesses. Soon, I was meditating on the instant where he hurt my feelings at the very early stage of our marriage, and then on his mistake about an hour ago, followed by a chain of memories in which he did something wrong. I was just thinking about those times without any ill wills. That's when the Lord whispered to me, "You see, you are looking down on him right now. You are despising and belittling him." I was startled. "Lord, when did I look down upon him?" As we speak, meditating on those thoughts in your mind right now is actually belittling him. You don't love him. Love keeps no record of wrongs. I stared into space. Only then did I begin to realize many things. If ignoring and hating meant to think badly about the other person, what he had said was right. Although I had never belittled him through words or action, I had severely criticized him a countless number of times in my mind. I thought he wouldn't know how much I laughed at him as long as I didn't let it show. But my husband knew what love is. It was like knowing whether or not the fireplace still has embers, not by having to touch it, but by naturally feeling the air around it. He was keenly aware of whether or not my heart still had the embers of love. I really wished to love my husband. I never wanted to belittle him again. I earnestly hoped that the embers of love would grow and never be put out again. In order to be able to make it happen, I had to avoid dwelling on his weaknesses or mistakes. I was feeling down and decided to go out for a walk. As I was walking, I pondered about my husband and the times where he had hurt my feelings. Then the Lord spoke to me again. You are looking down on him and hating him again. I was shocked. Oh Lord, I am really. When will I finally be able to only love him without looking down on him? Make up your mind right now not to hate him anymore and call upon Jesus. Then you will be able to genuinely love him. The Lord gave me all the solutions to the problem. Yet, my sinful nature was still clinging to the evil thoughts. I was wishing to keep those thoughts in my mind. My mind soon turned into a battlefield between my conscience, which was telling me I have to love him, and my sinful nature, which wished to keep hating him. This was a controversy. I must choose either one in order to control my heart, in which peace had been broken. My sinful nature personally wanted to dwell upon my husband's flaws. After much floundering, I finally made up my mind to genuinely love him. And I cried out a prayer to God. I have decided not to allow any negative thoughts about my husband. Now I want to truly love him. Please help me, Lord. I cried out wholeheartedly to Jesus. When my decision was made firm, the heavenly power came into my heart. The bright light of heaven cast out the darkness from my heart. I finally won. Since then, every time negative thoughts about my husband come into my mind, I handle the situation the same way. The battle against myself was fiercer than any other battles I had fought before. However, once I made up my mind firmly and called upon the Lord, He was always there to extend help to me. The depressed look was now gone from my husband's face. He no longer said, "You belittle me." Once again, I learned that true repentance was not something that can happen by man's power.